Okay, my friends, I found this absolutely fabulous. This is Physics Uncovered on Instagram. Now, I disagree with what they're saying here, but I'm going to show you the experiment they did. Absolutely fabulous. However, what they're saying is when temperatures drop, so when it gets colder, atoms slow down, and that slowdown makes materials contract. The atoms slowed because they're bubbling out there, moving like they slow down like that. No, I disagree with that, and I'll show you why I disagree with it. But watch this experiment. This is absolutely fabulous. This is like what I like in research. I want to see something. Watch what this guy does. He's got a dish here of cold, icy cold water. Now, he's going to start by showing you that the ball will not go through that hole. But once he puts it in the cold water, and if it gets it cold, it comes right up through. So let's see what happens. See, he can't get up through. Can't get it up. He can't get it through. He puts it down in the cold. It gets nice and cold. You know, only a couple seconds. Zip right up straight through. Why do you think it happened? Think it over a little bit. Because everything was moving around like this. I could see where that's one possible scenario you could come up with, or you could go with Dipole Electron Flood Theory that says a bunch of electrons left the ball and went into the water, which makes the ball smaller because every electron is a piece of matter. All right, this is going to be fun for me because I long ago knew that energy, the transfer of energy, is from light into atomic vapor. Well, what is atomic vapor? What is vapor? Vapor is like you have water and you boil it and you get vapor coming off of it like steam. When it comes back together again, it turns into something more substantial, which is water. That's what the energy is, from light into atomic vapor, and that's like coming from the sun. And the only two things that matter here are two types of energy, and they're both dipoles. They're dipole-dipole interactions. Everything is dipoles. There's polar and non-polar dipoles. Because a dipole doesn't have to be polar. It can be, you know, no magnetic moment to speak of. Well, let's stay away from that. There's ones that are magnetic and there's ones that are not magnetic. Let's think about it that way. But I did a lot of work on this stuff from right top to bottom, and I realized that these were particles. They had to be particles, and there's no such thing, but they're in a vapor form when they're being formed. And I did all of the experiments to prove what I was saying. You know, heat of solution, heat of this and that. You know, this goes back 50 years, more than 50 years. But I came to this conclusion that electric power, all power is electric. There's nothing but electric power. Everything is electric. If there's any power at all, it's electric, and it's field-to-field interactions. And when I got these pictures from Rod Warren, I could finally talk about it in a materialistic way. I never could say I understood this 100%. It was just guesses. But now it's no longer guesses. This is the proof. Now, what happened to me was I was really assaulted for saying that we could see particles of light. And this is the wave that the particle back here, which is this one here, is coming forward, and it has a big field surrounding it. It has a field. So the field has to get through whatever's here, creating the wave. But it's a particle that creates the wave. And the particle is because of the field is, the field is because of the white particle. The black particle does not have a field. It wants to take those fields. That's the key. The black wants the fields, and the white's got plenty of them. And the more they smash into things, the brighter things get. See all these little dots? Those are particles within the air that are being excited. Those are little gases and who knows what, dust and so forth. But this coming forward with its big field is pushing them out of the way so they light up. It's always push to shove. That's what I call it, push to shove. I push you, you shove back. And in the meantime, it grows a field. It's called the, I can't remember the name of it, but it's Lorentz. No, I have to think about it. Hold on. I'm not going to bother looking it up. It's when the fields come closer and closer, they get stronger and stronger. In between, nothing ever really touches each other. It's basically is what they're saying. At a certain point, it bounces back. Now, they're using the smartphone sensors, transforming into an unprecedented repurposing smartphone cameras and create a detector capable of tracking anti-proton annihilations in real time. That's what we were doing, right? As soon as Rod sent me this, I knew what was going on there. I could tell. And of course, I had a big fight with Fermilab specifically, but then CERN and University of Geneva, they didn't know, you can't do that, you can't do that. Yes, I said, I can do it because we're using light. Light will not smash the CMOS, which is the circuitry, and it destroys it because they're using big particles. They're shooting bombs. We're shooting one little tiny little particle. We're supposed to pick it up. So finally they agreed, yes, you're right, we can do this. So, but now they want to do it for using still protons. They still want to use these big, huge, gigantic things, but what they did was they're putting some filtering in here to take out the big chunks, basically. I'm sure that's what's going on, until they can get to the tiniest little bits, can get through there. Then they can see the particles. What they want to do is see the particles. Right now, they just see a bunch of debris. Basically, I'm telling you, that's just a fact. You know, I had a guy ask me the other day, he says, are you a physicist? I said, well, I do physics, yes. He says, yeah, but do you have a degree? I said, well, I have a degree to have somebody tell me stuff that isn't true, so that I already know it isn't true because I did all this stuff. Light energy, everything's about light. And it's all about light, and it's all about frequencies. And, you know, I did this as deep as anybody on planet Earth. And I did it for the rest of my life because I was into semiconductors and electronics. And as deep as you could get, because it was just coming out. Electronics were just coming out. I had to understand all this stuff. And I did. And I found that you couldn't present this and be accepted unless you paid them a whole bunch of money. And then you had to say what they told you to say. So I went in my own business. But, you know, being a physicist means you just have to say what they tell you to say and then make some little thing up to try to get around it so you can get some funding for something. Dipole Electron Flood Theory is just perfect. It works fabulously, flawlessly. Okay, this is Yale, all right, Yale University. This is Professor Shankar. Nice guy, and he's an honest guy. And here's what he says to the students. This goes back 14 years. It's 14 years ago.
So this is a very exciting day for me because today we're going to start quantum mechanics, and that's all we'll do till the end of the term. Now, I got bad news and good news. The bad news is that it's a subject that's kind of hard to follow intuitively, and the good news is that nobody can follow it intuitively. Richard Feynman, one of the big figures in physics used to say no one understands quantum mechanics. So in some sense the pressure is off for you guys because I don't get it and you don't get it and Feynman doesn't get it. The point is, here's my goal. Right now, I am the only one who doesn't understand quantum mechanics. In about 7 days, all of you will be unable to understand quantum mechanics. Then you can go back and spread your ignorance everywhere else. That's the only legacy a teacher can want. So,
You know, it's unfortunate, but that's true. You have to say, if you don't say what he tells you to say, I'm sure he's going to fail you. And he's going to they spew out the stuff. It's just unbelievable. And there's the whole set of courses are here. But, you know, I obviously didn't go through them all. He knows it's not what he's saying. He doesn't understand. And the kids will never understand it. It's not comprehensible with the standard model. It just doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. They know that. But they're grasping at straws. This was 14 years ago. He knew this. Now, I went to a lot of schools for free. Look at this. This is all free. You can go here. You're not going to get any piece of paper that says that you're intelligent because you watched all these things. I also took a course at University of Geneva, which is basically part of CERN. And at that point, I told them we were finding these particles, and we were seeing them with CMOS, smartphones. And of course, they went crazy. Same thing happened with me with the Fermilab, all of them. The Fermilab was the worst. And in my opinion, they were just didn't do their job. And but eventually, they came around at University of Geneva to say, yes, I guess you can see what you're seeing, and what you're seeing appears to be light, because it came from light. Light is light. I mean, we went back and forth, and eventually, I believe I was the victor. All right, they're showing this as a photon, and they're showing some little bitty ones looking like photons too. It's just a difference in energy. But when they hit these things together, they get splashed with all this. X means it could be any size whatsoever. All of these are the smallest ones they see. We started with the smallest ones there are. So we didn't have to look through any of this, and this just confuses them. This doesn't help them, it's just very confusing. You have to start with the smallest particles you can, which is light. All right, if you think this through logically, light, as I say, is atomic vapor, and light creates heat. The more light you put on something, the warmer it will become. So it's obviously some form of energy. And I say that light is atomic vapor, and that atomic vapor is electrical energy in dipole form. And I didn't realize this until I got this stuff from Rod Warren to actually see these particles, and then we could see them, actually see them. Now what they're doing is smashing these things together, just gobs of goo everywhere, and they look through it and they just get confused. Here's the key, is these are the two smallest particles. And this one always has a glow around it because it's dark matter. You can't see it unless something's trying to get around it, and you can see it's there, just like we see these. You're not going to see those if there was no glow there. Now, these are the glowy particles, and each one of these is a dipole. Back to back, they make photons. We took that and accelerated that. All right, so those photons are right in here. And we accelerated it through a Venturi. The Venturi does a job, very simple. And it exploded here, and the white particles went into shower mode, which is known that they will do it, and the black went sterile, which that is also understood. But nobody's ever done it before or could see it. Nobody could see it. They didn't realize what they were doing. Let me just put it that way. I'll make it gentle on them. This is the light wave coming through. All right, and the particles in there, just it has a big field around it. So it's coming through pulsed, boom, 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 boom. The first one is making all the energy because it's the one that's hitting everything, and then these are coming behind it. It's sort of paved the way. Let's go with that. So at that point, it accelerates, and the particle actually pulls itself right out of its own wave. It's like a jet fighter pulling itself right through the atmosphere. And at this point, it becomes visible as a photon because of the back feed. It's called reverse electromagnetic force. And it comes, I mean, you can see it. It's just staggering amount of reverse, it's an explosion. It's a subatomic nuclear explosion. I'll show you those particles. There's fission and there's fusion. Fission means you break something apart, obviously. Fusion means you put it back together, obviously. What did we do? We did those. And here they are right here. These are the two particles. Here they are glued together, which they're supposed to be. And they are tight. They are tight, tight, tight. And that's light. Light doesn't just fall apart by itself. But when you do it to the Venturi, like here, the black backed off because it couldn't get through the Venturi. And here it is right here. There's the black sterile muons, which are the muon neutrinos. And here's the showers. Nobody would ever know this. Everything else is just guesses. Everything I did was, I feel, is supported now by the evidence. But it was until this, it was just a guess. I knew that they had to be particles, and I knew that they had to have mass. And Einstein was wrong basically about everything. And everybody touted him as such a genius that you can't talk about anything unless you go along with what he said. And when you go along with what he said, just like Professor Shankar says, you can't understand it. Nobody can. It just doesn't make sense. All right, we're going to go through everything top to bottom, and as a complete detailed video of everything about light and energy and particles. Everything's made out of particles. And as I said from forever, that there is nothing but dipoles, first of all. And secondly, light is atomic vapor. It's just vapor. When it condenses, it turns into matter. We are literally made out of light. You don't believe me? Guess who said that? You see that? I'm going to leave it at this. Jesus is the one that said this. You want to argue with him? You argue with him. If they say to you, where have you come from? Say to them, we have come from the light. From the place where the light came into being by itself. It established itself and appeared in their image. That's a pretty serious statement. We are children of the light, and we are ones that were chosen by the living Father to be alive. This goes a lot deeper than just electrons, and this is the deepest rabbit hole there is. So if you want to come, come. Not,